We are looking at your Dynasty football trades.
Let's do
These
it.
are the ones that you have made in the last week. If you want your trades to be on this weekly show that we do, it's very simple. All you need to do is support the channel by using our promo code LAND at the Flock Fantasy website. If you sign up to the Mother Flocker tier, you will instantly unlock the ability to have us review your trades on this weekly video show. All right, let's go ahead and look at the first trade today from Crime Lord. 10-team Superflex PPR. He's 1-5. Did he give up too much? Wanted to move off Naji and Kirk for more of a win now guy. So he gets Quentin Johnson and a third, sends away Kirk and Naji Harris. I don't know where you stand. We actually just recorded, updated Dynasty wide receiver rankings, and I have to say that Quentin has drastically fallen in my rankings. Let me see exactly where I have him ranked. In that video, I had Quentin ranked as my wide receiver 45 in Dynasty, and I had Christian Kirk ranked as my wide receiver 32. So to me, there's a pretty big gap between these two. And
look,
I think you should have gotten more value than what you got, in my personal opinion. And, Naji Harris, it doesn't look good. I don't really like him long term, but still, he has some sort of value in Dynasty at this moment.
Yeah, I would completely agree. Naji Harris for essentially a third. If the way I'm seeing is Quentin Johnson for Kirk, Naji Harris for that third. And let's just start off with Quentin. Look, anything can happen. I'm still a believer that he hasn't gotten the workload, hasn't gotten the production that we all expected, but we hope that that's going to change in the second half of this season. Yes, right now, Christian Kirk feels like the more valuable guy. Look what he has done in the first couple of weeks. He's been a good wide receiver too that you can plug in and play right here, right now. And Quentin Johnson is not that. I understand, you wanted to move off of
get younger
and do everything, but if I'm getting younger, maybe I'm getting somebody I trust a little bit more in, and hope that somebody I can trust in and say, you know what, I know next year that he's going to at least grow into his role a little bit more, where it doesn't feel like that with Quentin right now. But that is still my hope and my belief.
Dell or
somebody,
touchdowns or
Nico or I don't know, something. But as much as I love Quentin, I can't really back him right now. So hopefully in a couple weeks from now, this is a laughable trade.
We're looking back and we're like, haha, look, Quentin Johnson's incredible. You know, we're idiots.
Yeah. So, Naji, you can't trade away Naji.
Not if this is a return.
But are you really going to send Naji for a second though? Are you really?
I am willing to now send Naji Harris for a second round pick. Absolutely. Because you already have Jaylen Warren kind of coming in and taking opportunity. I would say there is a 0.1% chance Naji Harris gets one of those dream contracts for running backs that we love. The Jonathan Taylor deal, the Dalvin Cook deal that he had at one point, the Alvin deal he had at one point, the Zeke deal. I would say there's a 0.1% chance that ever happens. And if he hits free agency, sure, he might get a chance to start for someone else, but there's no way in my mind he's like, oh damn, Najee's there. No other running backs getting involved now. They have figured out their running back position.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd be willing to spend send a. I would be willing to receive a second round pick. Excuse me.
Okay.
For Najee at this point.
Okay, that's fair.
All right, the second trade is from Goat Rings. 12-team, 2-quarterback, full PPR start 11. I own Tua, Jackson, Watson, and A-Rich. Felt this value for Kyler was easy to take. I got my own first back, and it's projected 111, 112, but the other first was around 106 and the 109. So he sends away Kyler Murray. He gets a late first and the 106 to the 109. I've been a big advocate of buying Kyler Murray. What I will say is I have never seen anyone pay this price when I've told them to buy.
Yeah, I was going to say 2
since
first
the injury,
Kyler.
I have not seen anyone get 2 first-round picks for Kyler Murray, especially one of them being potentially mid.
I would agree there.
I love Kyler Murray. I'm a big advocate of buying him throughout the offseason, but it's never been for that price. So absolutely, I think you got good value considering how many quarterbacks he had.
Yeah, and that's exactly where I was going to go to. I mean, 2 firsts for Kyler. I'll take that for the cockroach, you know?
Hater, absolute hater.
I
But I
respect
do
this
love
game.
Kyler, and he's still ranked inside my top 12 quarterback
Respect
ranking
this
in
game. I mean,
Dynasty.
hopefully he starts this week.
I don't think so. I think they'll hold him off until
When do
not
you
next
think?
week, but the week after.
When's their bye week actually? Oh, their bye week's week 14.
Hmm.
No point
Because who
after
do they
that.
play the next couple weeks? Because it's
Yeah, it's Baltimore, Cleveland. Sorry, Cleveland. In week. Sorry, they play Baltimore week 8, Cleveland week 9, Atlanta week 10.
yeah.
Those are the next 3
He'll come
matchups.
back either Atlanta or the game before.
Cleveland. That's a tough matchup.
Lazy Bone says, redeem myself 12 team Superflex start 9 non-tight end premium, and I'm comfortably holding the 12th seed plotting on 2024. So he gets Zay Flowers, sends away Elijah Moore and James Cook.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember
I
him
love
saying
this
this.
deal myself. What about you?
Yeah, I remember him sending this in the fantasy hotline there, and I was like, he's like, what do you think about this? I was like, as much as I love, these are both of my guys coming into this season.
Right.
Zay Flowers has been phenomenal. Elijah Moore, not the person that I was hoping he was going to be, unfortunately, whether it's with Deshaun Watson or not. And James Cook has been doing good. Had a bounce back week this past week. But Zaza significantly more valuable than him. So I'll take
Yeah, it's
Zay
almost
Flowers.
like with James Cook, it's like, okay, if you have him, it's like you've got a fine RB2. But if you're competing, do you really want to trust him as your RB2? Because there might be a team that you get smoked by that has more reliable superstars, So it's close, but I want the Zay side as well.
Yeah.
Win Murder says 12 team start 10 superflex PPR, 0.5 running back and tight end premium. The first in the deal is about to be 6-1, so likely the 108 to the 112. My quarterback room is now Kyler, Bryce Young, and Anthony Richardson, and all 3 Titan quarterbacks.
Oh boy.
Maybe one works out. My running backs are Spears. Okay, let's see. So he gets Anthony Richardson. He sends away a first and Nico Collins. Where's that first? He said it's 108 to the 112. And honestly, a little bit shocked that A-Rich was that affordable. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, so you receive Anthony Richardson, so you have Kyler Murray, Anthony Richardson now, and Bryce Young. Yeah, look, I'm okay with this trade. What is Nico worth? Nico's worth a first right now?
Yeah, he's on the edge.
Because that's how I'm seeing this. 2 firsts.
If you sell him, you want a first. If
Quote,
you buy him,
unquote.
you don't want to pay a first.
Yeah, exactly. So I think maybe this is what, CD is thinking. I receive her first, and then I get Nico Collins, who I can sell for first. Now, where you can't sell Anthony Richardson, I would say with his injury for multiple firsts, you can only sell him for 1 first. So I think maybe that's what CD is thinking, but I do agree. This kind of feels like a good value for Anthony Richardson, but I guess it depends on how you really value Nico Collins. That's the biggest thing there.
To me, this is a big win for the A-Rich side. I mean, I'd be willing to pay this for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I have my concerns on Anthony Richardson becoming a good NFL quarterback. And I don't think it's helped that he's already been so injured. And
concussion, and then
it's also been like the ideal way for him to play for fantasy purposes, and
he got injured in that
for
way.
Real life NFL. But is that sustainable long term? It's hard to say. And when he's been healthy, dude, he's been like overall quarterback 1 type production for fantasy. The issue is just, will he take those steps?
Yeah.
After already a rough start to his career. But I would be willing to take the risk on A-Rich here.
Yeah, look, I completely agree. Willing to take the risk. But I don't think it's far off for CD in what he believes. Okay. I guess what Nico Collins is worth. Because if he continues producing, he can be worth more than a first, or just a first, and that could be a good payout for him.
Sure. Crime Lord, 12-team Superflex PPR, start 10, 3 wide receivers. First will likely be early to mid, and the second will be late. Maybe a bit controversial, but I'm curious on your thoughts. So he gets Garrett Wilson and Michael Mayer. He sends a first and a second. How?
I mean,
The first will likely be early to mid,
early to mid. I mean,
and the second will be late.
I'm okay with this trade. I think it's an even trade. I mean, what's Garrett Wilson worth in your eyes? I mean, I think he's
More than this.
early to mid. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm okay with this Garrett Wilson trade.
Right.
And Michael Mayer, we've seen him continuing producing in this second half of the season. So I feel like, you probably drafted him in the second as well. He was going early second. So I'm really okay with this Garrett Wilson trade, especially with Aaron Rodgers coming back as well.
The only way this doesn't work out is if you miss out on a Caleb Williams, a Marvin Harrison, a Drake May. Outside of that, you absolutely crush this trade. Like you hit a home run with Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, agreed.
Robble, what's up? 12-team Superflex PPR. We start 3 wide receivers in this league. You know the drill. I'm competing. He is rebuilding. The pick is expected to be mid-round. So he gets Brandon Aiyuk and sends away a 2024 first. We just did our wide receiver video just today as we recorded it. And Brandon Aiyuk is officially a top 12 wide receiver for me in Dynasty. He's my wide receiver 11. So to me, I would absolutely pay this price to get a Brandon Aiyuk on my competing team.
Yeah, completely agree. Love Brandon Aiyuk coming in. Does he get extended, you think?
I'm at the point where I don't know, but if they let him walk, he signs a lucrative deal in free agency.
And, okay, I was going to say, is he still top 12 for you no matter the team? I guess it really depends on the team he goes to. But, like, if he goes to the Giants, he's still top 12, hypothetically?
It depends on who's playing quarterback. But I would assume that whoever is going to play or pay him that money is going to feature him heavily. And maybe fair. I fall into the trap of following the money, but I think the talent is absolutely there. He's almost like a young Stephon Diggs. He's really like stepping into like that kind of talent in my mind.
Yeah, look, I can definitely see it. I agree.
I could also see a scenario in which they move on from Debo and keep Aiyuk.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking that they move on from Debo. They keep Brandon Aiyuk because of how much they're going to have to pay everyone else. I'm not necessarily sure if Debo has that out, though, in this contract. No, they have the out in 2025. The
good news is Brock Purdy has played well overall. If you look at his entire career so far, it's been 90% good, and that's great if he's attached to Brock Purdy throughout his career. But keep in mind,
the downfall begins though. 2 losses back to back. I mean, have you seen Twitter? Crazy. Oh my gosh, it's crazy about Brock Purdy.
Don't get me started on Twitter. They do not have the same goalposts for all quarterbacks in the NFL. If Brock Purdy has a poor game, it's like he's dead.
Bro,
like he is not relevant at all anymore.
I've seen some tweets saying that.
Why do we not have the same goalposts for Jalen Hurts so far? This is for Patrick Mahomes, for Josh Allen. Like
I've seen tweets. I was like, this is exactly what I was talking about with Brock Purdy.
I know that tweet, dude. I know that tweet, and it was so. It was so cringe. Yeah, genuinely, so cringe. Even if it was a joke, it was very cringe.
Yeah, 100%.
But anyway.
Yeah, look, Aiyuk for the first. I'm okay with it as well. I'm really interested to see where he goes. I know he's going to be a big. He can hit the market, and if not, then obviously he stays with the 49ers, and you're still okay. Still a lot of wide receivers a lot of teams, that can help him. That he can help. The Texans is a big one. The Giants is a big one. You think of all these teams. The Cardinals, if he goes there with Hollywood Brown and Kyler Murray, oh my goodness. That could be crazy over there. So a lot of teams that can utilize Brandon Aiyuk.
Agreed. All right, and the last one today, I can't see the name from Jay Stump. Okay, yeah. I love it. Shout out to Discord. Come on, figure it out. 12-team PPR, Superflex, tight end premium. Both teams in the deal are competing and happen to be top 2 teams in the standings as of today. My other quarterbacks are Mahomes and Stroud. So I'm completely cool doing this move, especially long-term, since I 100% believe that Stroud is that motherfucker. You love to see it.
You love to see it.
So he gets Geno Smith and 2 first-round picks. He sends away Tua and first and Kenneth Gainwell. My issue with this deal, Badaki, is you told me the guy you're trading with is your biggest competitor, and you just made him much, much stronger.
Yeah, I mean...
I would not be surprised, Jay Stump, if in the championship or in the playoffs, you face this guy and Tua goes crazy and you're like, what did I do? And I don't know. I'm fine with the value if that 2024 first is relatively high, if that 2025 first is relatively high. But I just don't love the idea of making my biggest competitor stronger.
Look, I completely agree. Two first for Tua, and I think that's kind of going to be the value if once he gets this contract extension, which I do believe.
Well, you got a first in return though, so it's technically Geno in a first, and to me, I would pay that all day.
Right. Well, so you got Geno. No, he got Geno in 2 firsts. Is that what? Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. But there's 1 first that you sent away.
Right, and 1 first that you sent away.
So you didn't technically get 2 firsts here because you sent a first round pick away.
Right. Okay. Look, this is what I would say. I would have rather have Tua long term, even though you said you have Bryce Young and who was it? Patrick.
He has Mahomes and CJ.
Mahomes and CJ Stroud. I still would have rather held on to Tua and then sold him at the right time for an even bigger payout. When he gets that contract extension, currently in the community QB8, and this was the type of thing that we were talking. I mean, maybe I was talking about specifically because I was saying how big Tua was going to have, how big of a season Tua was going to. I wasn't expecting this. QB5 currently so far, QB8 in the community. He's ahead of someone like Trevor Lawrence, Brock Purdy, Kyler Murray, Anthony Richardson, and we were taking him 2.5 rounds later in our Dynasty startups before the season started.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's interesting. I think that, I agree with you. You trade him to your competitor, but he is somebody I still would have rather kept, even if he was my QB3. You know, and then
Tua was Tua was a big buy for us on the channel.
He was
multiple years in a row actually. And I guess like the way I'm really looking at this is if someone sent me Geno Smith in a first, and I sent them Tua, would I do it? No, I would rather have Tua than Geno Smith in a first.
I
so
completely
it's
agree.
close.
I completely agree.
Of course, maybe those first round picks are really early and we're missing that, and that could change things. But again, I just don't love the idea of making your biggest competitor strong, because at the end of the day, we want to win the championship. We want to win the whole thing, you know, and that could be a reason you maybe don't, which would be really frustrating if it happened. But just my opinion. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below about these trades. You know how to get your trades on the show now. Check out the description and check out the pinned comment to sign up. Outside of that, we'll see you guys very soon. All love. Now that those idiots are done talking, who needs some rankings?
Hell yeah, I need some rankings.
Then use promo code LAND, LAND, for 30% off any membership at flockfantasy.com.
Oh.
It's so easy. Even your grandma could scan that QR code right there.